townspeople who had gathered all chuckled and chortled a bit under their breath and elbowed each other a bit. They giggled as Arthur stepped forward and reached out without even bothering to put a foot up on the stone. Ever since the Lady of the Lake of Avalon had put that sword in the stone, promising that whoever could draw it forth would be made king, people had been coming from far and near, from throughout the kingdom and beyond, trying to find the power to become king and rule. Many young, strong, burly men, knights and blacksmiths and people of tremendous strength would come forward, and they'd grab that sword with both hands, with bulging muscles in their arms and strong backs and powerful legs. They would pull and tug and crank and twist and wrench and pull some more, but the thing wouldn't budge. So when Arthur, who was pretty ordinary by stature, Arthur walked up and reached out and just grabbed the hilt with one hand, it seemed kind of comical. Imagine how they gasped when he drew that sword with a single stroke. You see, Arthur had studied under Merlin, so he approached the problem differently. All these other guys approached the problem by putting their faith in their outer strength. They put their faith in their physical power, and nothing happened. Arthur knew that if anything impressive was ever going to happen, he needed to put his faith in his inner strength. He had to believe in spiritual power. And that's how remarkable and amazing things happen. Now it's a very old legend with a timeless message. Only those who put their faith in spiritual strength actually manage to make a meaningful difference and change the world. And John the Baptist saw this in Jesus. He saw it. He saw the Holy Spirit come down upon him like a dove from heaven and remain. He was inspired, as we say, in the Spirit. And Jesus would tell us that if you have faith the size of a mustard seed, you can move mountains. That's the power of the inner spirit. When we allow ourselves to be inspired and filled, if you have faith the size of a mustard seed, you can move mountains. But here's the kicker. As we've become increasingly adept at harnessing the outer power of the physical world, we find ourselves more and more putting our faith out there rather than in here. Time and again, we put our faith in internal combustion engines, in bulldozers, in guns, in walls, in investment banks and hedge funds. More and more we are becoming like all those young men who thought they could rule the kingdom by mere physical force, by harnessing the outer strength rather than the inner strength. But every once in a while, someone comes along to show us how it's done. We've had a couple in our own lifetime, remarkable people. St. Teresa of Calcutta, St. Oscar Romero, two humble people of small stature with no outer power at all, no kingdom to rule, no anything outside of themselves, but so inspired and infused with the Holy Spirit within them, they were able to move mountains and change the world in a very meaningful way for a lot of people. Another one who we celebrate tomorrow, the Reverend Martin Luther King Jr., was able to get an entire nation to examine its conscience. And like all people who are truly inspired, like Mother Teresa and Oscar Romero, became a champion of peace and justice and human dignity, because that's what inspired people do. That's what Jesus did. When we are infused with the Spirit, we become champions of peace and justice and human dignity. And that brings us right back to one of the core messages in our scriptures today. You see, we are those people. And boy, doesn't our world need 1 or 2 or 10 or 100 of those people right now. And I mean right now. And as followers of Jesus, we are called to be those people. Our baptism and our confirmation call us to let the Holy Spirit come down upon us like a dove from heaven and remain. And then go out and live from within that heart. Live and love and lead truly inspired lives.